Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Is Your Business Ready for ESG and a Carbon Transition Plan? But the formal title is Sustainable ESG Strategy and Business Transformation. So that's what the title says. What we're going to do is that we're going to run through ESG in a very broad manner in the beginning, because people usually say that they want to learn ESG more in depth. But then if you don't have the foundation and why we are doing ESG, then it becomes very technical. But if you know why, the learning of the technical becomes easier and quicker. Okay, the major part. There are some case studies that are some of you from aviation, is it? How many of you from aviation industry? Okay. So some of you from aviation, some of you use aviation. So we are all from aviation in that sense, okay? So some of the case studies here are for aviation, some of it is non-aviation. So we can jump over a bit between aviation case studies and non-aviation case studies, okay? There are a lot of slides here that are specifically developed for the aviation industry, but I can tell you that you can use this for any other industry because it's teaching you concepts and ideas. So in fact, it's more technical, so you actually learn more, and which you can apply for other areas. Okay, so my name is Ganesh. I'm a professor at the University of Nottingham. I also like to teach, so I do this. I got a couple of years experience in sustainability. I teach sustainability too. So welcome to this program hosted by MIM. All right. What we're going to do is that we're going to spend about 40 minutes to give you an introduction and then some quick introduction into the learning objective as to why we are doing this. More than other programs, ESG, learning ESG, understanding ESG, practicing ESG requires for you to understand the fundamentals of ESG. There is a person in the US that doesn't believe in ESG. He doesn't like ESG. He thinks it is not real or doesn't want to focus on ESG. Anybody knows who the person is? Trump. Trump, yeah. He doesn't believe in anything else but himself, I think.
But Elon Musk supported him.
Elon Musk supported him. Everything got all, you sign here all my approval contract and I get that. So that itself shows how unreal their relationship is, okay? Elon Musk makes money from ESG. Anyway, because especially on battery and so today we're going to learn ESG in two parts. Okay, one ESG is for us, and one ESG is for the business. I really been practicing ESG, teaching ESG, and I always feel that if we don't know ESG from an individual, I do think that we will go to a part of this world that is not going to be very exciting for future generation. So that is why ESG was created, and you need to know that because unlike other things, the rules for ESG continues to keep coming in, new rules coming in. So if you don't understand why, you won't understand why the rules coming in. But if you understand why we are doing ESG, then for you to adopt the rules it's become easier, especially in few industries. Food industry is very, very critical in ESG. Aviation industry is very critical. Oil and gas, for example, and transportation is very critical. So I'll share with you why we need to do that. We will do module 1 and module 2. Module 1 is a bit introduction, it's a bit easier. Module 2 gets a bit heavier. Module 3 is about 2 hours of very extensive slides, but then you do about 1 hour to 1.5 hours on a case study. I like doing case study because it allows me to allow you to practice what you're learning. So we'll do a lot of case studies. During our case studies, I would like you to use a PowerPoint, use a slide, discuss your point, and actually do presentation. Okay. I don't like lecturing too long. I like to do case studies so that we can discuss and you can practice understanding ESG in a more practical way. Tomorrow morning, we'll spend a couple of minutes to recap. Then I'll introduce you the ESG framework, which is very important. This one means there's some videos inside. And then we do module 5, which is strategizing. The whole of tomorrow afternoon is basically doing a case study on ESG. And that case study, yours will be on your own company. You can do that on your own company, and you can do one of our case study that I'll give you. I think it's very important. ESG is such a popular topic. Oh, nak masuk dalam tingkat tu. Alright, so this is what we're going to do, alright? Okay, so 3 modules today, and then 3 modules tomorrow, then closing. Alright, so introduction. So now, are we under track? We know that there's a lot of smoke. You know, sometimes you get haze, and some people say, I don't believe in ESG, and then they put a mask, you know, and so on and so forth. Floods. There's floods everywhere these days, you know, very fast floods. Remember the massive floods in Shah Alam just 2 years ago? And who gets the blame? God gets the blame, Mother Nature gets the blame. But if you build a town beside a river that was supposed to be a flood retention pond area, and you build houses, and that's what happens. Because the weather has changed so dramatically, we don't have enough of big rivers to actually get rid of the water. And then you see pollution, you see a lot of erosion. In fact, you go to 2 years ago, I went with my family to Shangri-La. I took an ocean view. We ran to the beach because that's where I grew up in Penang. But then when we reached the hotel grounds, there is no more beach. The sea has come all the way to the ground. And recently, apparently, it's already reached the pool. So very soon, the pool will turn to a saltwater pool again because of erosion. And then, of course, you got coronavirus, which is very dramatic, and of course, people can blame a lot of things. But now you've got all sorts of different diseases that happen so fast. When we were growing up many years ago, no one has heard of influenza A, B. In a few years, they will have A, B, C, D. You better can't number like that, no? A, B, 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 C, you know. And it's happening so dramatically. Then pollution. Pollution has come to a point so dramatic that people living in PJ these days, if you drive around, like in my house, I have 2,500. I have 2 water tanks on top of my house. And then last year, I installed a 3,000 liter vertical tank because sometimes you got no water supply. And you get no water supply, not because there's no water. It's because you got pencemaran, the river, where the water intake. I'm sure you all got impacted, isn't it? And the reason why is because the main intake for our water for Petaling Jaya Klang Valley is from Iceland. Sungai Selangor. You know Sungai Selangor? Yeah. And it's the most important river. But guess where all the new industrial center is built? It's beside the river. Where you think that the dirt goes inside. So I don't know why. I wouldn't build a factory beside the river where we will drink water. But for you and for me, most of us, we don't have water. Maybe we buy water or use water tank. But do you know that people who have restaurants, 2 days if you close the restaurant, their profit for the month is gone. I got friends who have restaurants in Shah Alam. They said to me, Habis, 2 hari, if 2 hari no water, for that month I don't have any profit. So for a lot of other people, it's very, very significant. So these are very difficult times, right? It impacts it. So the point is that global warming is expected to reach a dangerous level of 1.5 degrees Celsius by the year 2030. If the global average temperature increases by 1.5 degrees, right, that's 24 degrees, assuming, okay. If it increases to 25.5, that means 1.5. Average in the world, the entire ecosystem of the world will change forever. There is no patah balik. It's very, very difficult to reverse it. Of course, some people will think that, oh, Malaysia, we are safe, okay? We are not. Because you can see already the weather pattern these days is already changed. And these days the rain, have you seen rain like this when we were growing up? These days the rain is very, very, very heavy, and then the lightning strikes is more significant. The ocean currents will change because the way how, remember when we were young, we learned about the ocean currents, the warm currents, the cold currents. That will change, and when that changes, the sea current changes, the food that we get from the sea will also diminish. Cayman Islands these days, when you go, you have to turn on your aircon in your room. Those days you don't have aircon in your room in Cayman Islands. These days you have to have aircon in your room because why? The weather has changed. The size of Kobe's in Cayman Islands has reduced. To increase it, they put a lot of chemicals. That's because the weather has changed. So it has a very dramatic change and it will impact us in a very, very significant way. And this is average in the world. It doesn't matter whether you're in Malaysia, Australia, or America, everybody will be impacted in the world. Right? So if by the time 1.5 degrees increase, the drought level will increase significantly. And in Malaysia, because we have never had long droughts, all our dam, water, our finances, all our dams, is not built big enough for very long droughts, which is why Kedah always had problems, Penang had problems. And I used to know a guy that when I did my consulting work for this company, they have paddy fields. They help paddy farmers, petani, padi in Kedah, in Perlis. If 3 weeks no rain, the life is damaged quite significantly. For us, we don't mind because we still got tap water, but for them, there's so much of hard work. Everything is destroyed because they don't have water. So, like that, 1.5 degrees can cause a lot of significant changes. If there's a 2 degrees change, it's a rise of 7 meters of water. Of course, people will say, but from Port Klang water to reach PJ is quite far, isn't it? But do you know that the water will move very, very quickly? Even if it is just part of a pit, even into Klang, it can really impact. Because why? The river will not be able to flow directly. The river will start overflowing over here, and there's a damage very dramatically. So the impact for us is very, very significant. Whether you like it or dislike it, the impact with us is very, very significant. Almost all our coral reef will be lost if we got 2 degrees. You might think, I'm not a scuba diver, I don't do masuk dalam laut and go look at coral reef. But do you know that if you have no coral reef, the planktons don't survive. The entire ecosystem of the plankton system don't survive. The entire ecosystem of plankton don't survive. Or if you don't have coral reefs to incubate fishes' eggs and stuff like that, the fish is not going to populate and expand, and the entire ecosystem in the sea is going to be even more dramatically damaged. So the impact to us is very significant. Sea level might rise as far as almost half a meter. Agriculture yields will fall rapidly. Price will increase. Soya will increase. Definitely tepung gandum is going to increase very significantly. As it is right now, it's already increasing. So an increase of 1-2 degrees Celsius is going to increase very significantly, have impact on Earth. This is all science. This is all facts. This is all science. Will it happen? We don't know. Likely to happen? Yeah, probably likely to happen. Can we be protected in Malaysia? It's not possible. If the entire world has shortage of rice, we'll be impacted. If there's a shortage of wheat and the prices of wheat increases very significantly, we'll be impacted. But they suspect in 50 years, do you know what is the most precious commodity in 50 years? Can anyone say what is the most precious commodity in 50 years? Fresh water. It's the most significant precious item that people are beginning to realize. If you go to California these days, for months they cannot wash their car. In many parts of California, you don't see the movie and say that things looks nice. It's all barren. It's like desert. You go to recently, my wife and I went to India. There's a very famous river. Okay, you can actually walk across the entire river. The only time the river will have water is they release water from the dam. They actually block the river. It's a Kaveri river. It's a million years old river. But there's a small stream that goes, and you can drive. It's almost a kilometer wide, and there's absolutely no water except for a small little stream that you can jump across. Yeah, because that is how dramatic. Around the world, okay, so very significant. What I would like you to do is, I've given you some stickers. I want you to just stand up and just say your name, your organization, what you do, and then use the sticker to write what would you like to benefit from ESG. Maybe you want to it's part of your job. Maybe you want to learn more ESG in terms of how you can impact your life, or you want to know what is the rules and regulation on decarbonization will have, especially in your company. Decarbonization is a great challenge and also a great opportunity for you, or in your companies. So rules is going to change. Rules of plastic is going to change. There's a lot of SME companies these days are severely impacted because their products don't meet certain ESG requirements, especially in scope 3, and their products cannot be exported to many parts of the world. Factories in Negeri Sembilan, just 2 weeks ago, one of my clients' factories he had to shut down his factory for 4 weeks because some of his documentation for decarbonization is not up to date, and his product got stuck in Rotterdam, in Netherlands. Millions of dollars. We told him many times, you better impose and start your ESG. He didn't start the ESG. And the MD has to sign, and these days when the MD signed your declaration for decarbonization, it's a crime that is punishable by law. It's a crime which they can actually subpoena you and masuk jail in certain parts of Europe if you don't declare your decarbonization or a net zero transition plan, and then you contain products that is harmful to the environment, or you have certain social practices that is not what people would want you to do. It's no longer about you cannot penalty. In certain countries, especially in Germany, in Netherlands, you can actually be tried and charged in the court as a fraudulent act, which is punishable by jail. That is how serious and consequences takes it. So what happened? The MD don't sign anymore. He asks his junior staff to sign. Anyway, that is the change. Okay, so can you just take a piece of paper, just write what is that you want to benefit from, and let's stick it here. Let's come stick it here. Okay. And then after you sit down, then you just say your name, your organization, and what you do. Okay. What would you like to benefit from ESG? E stands for environment, S stands for social, and G stands for governance. Okay? In fact, this hotel practice ESG because they give you glass and you have to fill the water, it's giving you the mineral plastic. Yeah. Those of you who want to write karangan also can, have a bigger paper. Or just write in the yellow sticker. Anyone want both the yellow sticker? Okay, shall we start introducing ourselves? While we introduce ourselves, maybe one by one you all can go and put your sticker up there. Can we start from here? Introduce yourself, what you do, and then what is that you want to benefit from. And then take the sticker and do it here. Put the sticker up here. And then quickly introduce yourself. Here. Here's okay.
Yeah, my name is Nahlan. I'm from the aerospace technology, so I do the aircraft maintenance MRO.
What do you want to learn from ESG?
This time I joined this club.
Okay.
I
be very nice to him. If you want you to sampai selamat at your destination, he's the one that take care of all the Airbus stuff. Sometimes the aircon not very cold. It's just a thing. The seat cannot sandal. Is there a way how we can make? Which Airbus did you go? All Airbus.
It was
380 or so.
319, 320.
Hey, by the way, Airbus is not, it's plane, not air bus.
Okay, my name is Ganesh Nadarajah.
Huh?
Ganesh Nadarajah.
Okay.
And I'm from Aerospace Technology Nadarajah, and I'm a HR executive for training soft skill and discipline. And benefit from ESG is I want to comply with the regulation
Okay.
and give awareness by training how important the ESG to the future life.
But you're not engineer lah, in Airbus. That means we can bully you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. So my name is Johan Bima Erdi. So I'm from Aerospace also, together with Rizman and Bernadette. And then I'm from SMS Safety Management System for Aerospace. So SMS BPK. And then what
So
I've
if
done,
brake tak tekan for the plate is you the one who check, make sure the brake tekan.
basically my side is audit.
Oh.
To
Oh, it's a very important
yeah,
part. Yeah.
it's a risk-based analysis on all of the risks that can
Your clients only Air Asia.
Asia,
make average,
Indo,
Batik, Firefly.
The pintu that keluar in America, they say it's from Malaysia. But that's not Airbus, isn't it? That's going.
Oh, that's why it's Spirit.
Spirit.
Yeah, the window.
That was a 737-800.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been to Everest, Boeing Everest factory, where they were putting 747-800 series, freighter series together. Spent 2 days there. Yeah. The factory is so huge. I think it's bigger than the size of Katalika. Yeah. One factory, it's huge. Very huge. Okay, you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Moon, and I am working in Generali Malaysia Insurance, which is a general insurance company. So my role is a compliance officer. So my role mainly is to ensure that the company operations is according to the rules and regulations requirements set up by our central bank, Bank Negara Malaysia. Because Bank Negara Malaysia nowadays they also quite focus on ESG, where they have actually rolled out a couple of policy document where they require all the members to adopt. So what I wish to learn from this ESG, of course, I need to know the principles of the ESG. How do we know about principle, and then how do we can help the company to make sure that we are able to abide with the law and regulations set up by Bank Negara. Thank you.
Can you get discount for house insurance?
I can introduce the intermediaries.
That means cannot lah.
Standard.
Yes, sir.
We are bound by the commissions.
Hi, I'm Molia. I'm actually coming from the same company with Moon, from Generali. So basically, I'm the legal compliance officer also. So as she mentioned just now, that we have so many rules from the central bank, so that we need to make sure that we adhere and follow all the guidelines. So basically, what I want to understand further from this ESG course is that to understand the controls, because we are performing the compliance assurance, so we need to understand what sort of controls that we need to enhance also in place for our insurance company.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, semua. I'm Diana.
You're the one that's not Mariah, there isn't it?
I'm from Institute Kepala Negara, INSCAN, a government agency.
Intan, you're from Intan.
INSCAN.
Intan.
A government agency under Kementerian Pembangunan Usahawan dan Koperasi, USCOP. So, my team, so we...
Awesome.
So we conduct trainings and coaching for micro informal entrepreneurs here in Malaysia, and our team specifically we vet through applications for social enterprises in Malaysia, because USCOP has its own
for aerospace. And what I do is I do for business development and also PIC for ESG in my company. And
Which company is this?
Spirit, as Smartstick.
Huh?
Smartstick.
Smartstick.
Smartstick. We do machine shop for aerospace.
Ah.
And then what we benefit is right now we're in training with AMIC to do accounting for greenhouse emissions, also part from ESG. So from this training, maybe we'll get something that I can implement in my company.
Okay, very good.
Morning everyone, my name is Fatin. I'm from Singularity Aerotech Asia. I'm from Finance Department. So what I would like to get from this training is that how is ESG impacting on our company's financial and also on the financial reporting itself. Besides from the ESG reporting.
Okay.
Thank you.
But you know, financial reporting itself is a 3-day course or a 5-day course. So this is to give you for you to understand about the business so that your financial reporting can meet certain requirements. But the training for ESG financial reporting is a separate 3 days course or 5 days course, which I sometimes teach, but I don't teach so much. Don't like finance so much these days. But yeah, you would learn some aspects of what it is here, but this is a more wholesome ESG about how to manage ESG in your business and adopt it as it appears, as opposed to actually learn how to do reporting. I just want to be very clear about that. ESG reporting is a 2-day, 3-day course because why? SC requirements is separate, the accounting standards is different, the various international accounting statements, like SAS comes up with separate statements, FASB comes up with separate statements in the US, and so we will cover a bit of that, but that's a separate topic altogether. Right?
Okay, good morning everyone.
Oops.
Good morning everyone, my name is Azhar. I'm from company Singularity Aerotech Asia, Sdn. I'm an HR practitioner, and what will I like to benefit from ESG is to understand better about elements of ESG and what can I do as HR representative to ensure HR regulation in my company comply with the ESG requirement.
Very good.
That's all.
Which is very important, especially in the S part of it, in social part of it, because of the new laws requiring specific requirements on actually labor protection, which government has already signed tariff and it's going to be part of that policy requirement over the years, especially on the minimum labor pricing, human rights and stuff like that. So it does have impact on a lot of labor requirements.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. Thank you to Mr. Ganesh for having us today. Thank you to MYM for hosting this training for us. My name is Arnav. Please pardon my voice because I just recovered from COVID. This was my 5th time of having COVID actually. So
can we set a table for him?
But surprisingly,
you like COVID or COVID likes you?
I know, maybe both ways. This time around happens to be my fastest rate of recovery, only 3 days. By the way, I'm from Singularity Aerotech Asia. In short, it's SAT Asia. I think you mentioned to me that you are familiar with our company.
Yes.
Maybe I haven't seen you before because I'm actually from the aerospace division.
Yes.
So we got the aerospace.
I design planes.
Sorry?
Not just kidding.
I design planes. So
actually, I saw you actually designed the landing gear for the A380s, isn't it?
No, actually the part of the spar attachment. So spars are basically the sort of the spine that runs across throughout the length of the wing.
Okay.
So basically what we do is as I mentioned, we do aerospace engineering design services. And part of it also we provide tech solutions which probably you are familiar with.
Yeah.
So we provide IoT solutions for agriculture and industrial applications.
Okay.
So with SAT Asia, I'm part of the program management office under the aerospace division. And why I'm here today is because I want to expand my knowledge base on ESG. our company has officially embarked on the ESG journey. So actually the three of us are part of our ESG committee, and we would like to know what are the things we can learn from this training today to further expand our horizon on ESG journey. And also FYI, we are AS 9100 certified company, and recently we have been told that we have to start considering the impact of our operations towards climate change. So ESG topic is pretty much something very crucial for us to, very important for us to consider nowadays, and we cannot be left behind in order for us to be competitive in the industry, especially globally.
Okay. Don't forget to put your stickers up. Some of you have non-jalankan diri. Okay, next one.
Okay.
Last question.
My name is Gonglen, everyone, and so my name is Mio Badrul, or you can call me Mio. So I'm pretty much same with them. I'm from Singularity Aerotech Asia, but from my department is technology. So what I do is I am a part of company digitalization personnel basically. So what I did is I giving them the solution and what kind of
Do you work with Carol?
But yeah, the plan is on my part is I want to do some solution of the company, basically in terms of what my team and technology team benefit from ESG, in terms of is it related to data securities, how in terms of ethics, how the team is going to implement ESG. For example, maybe through some kind of like tools, for example like ChatGPT or some kind of like AI related program to make sure that they can do their job pretty efficient and at the same time compliance with ESG.
So if I had a glance here, the need for ESG is increasing very, very rapidly. Okay. But by the way, we're going to have a bit of lecture, a bit of video, a lot more group discussion, case studies, and some practical workshops. All right. Keep to time, participate, collaborate. We have a lot of case studies because your needs are different. So I cannot lecture all your needs. Some of you feel so, which is why I have case studies so that you can discuss your issues within your company of ESG adoption. Then I can discuss that with relevant. So there are some case studies that relate to aviation. There are some case studies related to manufacturing companies, some education companies, and so on and so forth. So we pick and choose, and therefore I can teach you. ESG cannot be learned in a 2-day course or even a 1-month course. It's like you say that you want to study maths, everything, when actually you have a 4-year degree in maths and you still not finished because you can do your master's, you can do your PhD. So I think what is very, very important is that for us to understand that in these 2 days, what I'm just going to give you is a glimpse of what ESG is, but at the same time teach you how to actually learn how to apply the new concepts of ESG into your respective businesses. I think that's very important. The rules and requirements for each of your business will be different. It's very specific. Especially your industry is very stringent, has very clear responsibility. You have a very strict governance in terms of regulatory requirements on ESG. You have to comply. For you, it's a business opportunity for you to take advantage of this to help companies to actually progress, and for you is to help both of you is to help you to allow a lot of new businesses coming into the commercial world and allow them to understand the ESG requirement. Very soon, banks is going to say that if you don't have an ESG components, I cannot give you a very good loan. Your interest rate is going to be higher. I used to be a banker for 20 years. I used to be an executive director in a bank, executive vice president, and I used to manage and I used to sit in the board of certain committees in Bank Negara too that oversees general insurance, life insurance. So I'm very familiar with the rules and requirements. But I moved on from that after that. So I'll share a lot of my experience in terms of what it is. I also suggest that if you ask any questions, please feel free to ask a lot of questions, but focus your questions on ESG so that all of us can learn, okay? So let me give you a bit of example of my experience. Very recently, I told you I was a banker, but after that, I helped to do a few other things. One of it is the last few years is that I was a country head partner for an international consulting firm. And we actually are ESG champions. We do a lot of consulting work in ESG. So I've done ESG work for small, very small, tiny companies. I've done ESG work for big companies, big organizations, government departments. We have won awards. I've done for Ministry of Agriculture, MITI, MIDA. I've done for Pharma. Pharma, the one, the Pasar Malam and the Pasar Tani. And we have done for chemical industry. So it's very wide, and I can share with you some of these challenges I have. But in all doing this, I can tell you that the ESG is continuously keeps changing. So if anyone says he's an expert, he knows everything, ESG is definitely a con man. Okay. What you can know is learn how to adopt it and to keep progressing it. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay. This is some of our clients that we worked before. Some of these are Malaysia. I've worked with MPC, Global Network, and we have worked with oil and gas companies in Singapore and in Malaysia. So this is some of the ESG work that we have done. Just to give you, and we have done in terms of the 17 SDGs, which, if you are not familiar, I'm going to share with you in a short while. But even this, we can tell you that we're not a champion for everything. We are champions for some things, but not everything. This is completely very wide. Every business is going to become compliant to ESG. So someone say I'm expert in all this field, it's very difficult. All right. I will tell you that I don't have capacity in many of these areas. I have great capacity in some of these areas, which I'll share with you. Okay. This is some of the work that we have done around the world. So this is me. I currently teach at the university. I teach strategy. I teach sustainability. I teach innovation in strategy. Innovation in sustainability. I was a country advisor to Eden, which is the previous one. 34 years track record, working experience. I used to run a consumer bank. I was the EVP of a large management bank, a leading banking group in Malaysia for more than 20 over years. I was also a deputy group CEO and executive director of fintech company and Sharia company, and that's where I got to know Hafiz and Fauzi. In fact, Fauzi's mother's Talika is beside me in my house actually. Anyway, it's not related to this, but I know your colleagues. Previously, Farm Fresh. Have you heard of Farm Fresh? The best susu? Yeah, after I left the bank, actually, I was working Farm Fresh for almost 3.5 to 4 years. I helped to list the company actually. So 4 years. So from bank to the book. Quite interesting thing. In the bank, you can tell people how to work to get KPI. In Farm Fresh, I have to sit down and motivate the book. Yeah. By the way, the book, they are very caring, very understanding. Some of them have become friends. They will see me and they'll come running, And I feel that I get a lot of stories about sustainability and ESG from Farm Fresh, which were very, very strict and became very popular. Before that, I was working as a consultant, and those my degree. So I used to work in Arte Anderson, and then I worked in a company called Tegara, and this is some of my project. IMU was my project. This is a big integrated cement plant in Aceh. I won't go back to Aceh now, it's very dangerous, but this was 30 years ago, I think. In Aceh, you do something like Sebat public skinning. Padang is not so bad. Aceh is very strict. I think carton manufacturing is the biggest in Malaysia. This is the Damansara Specialist Center, was my project. We did shipping and stuff like that. So I did this for about 10 years of my life. And then I was in MBank. I was the face of MBank during 1MDB. I was the official spokesperson. And prior to that, I was running the retail bank. So when somebody's wife was buying handbags overseas, the credit card defaulted, I had to approve the extension so people can buy handbag. So I have Badan Cerita, but it's not during class Cerita because it's being recorded, I cannot say it. But in handbag was exciting because every other day when I joined and I became the spokesperson, I was running the bank. Every time we come out in the newspaper, my mother used to call me, she'd cut the newspaper and tell them. After that, she got tired already. I used to come out a lot, and that was a different, very exciting. This is the current MD, this is Dr. Sulaiman, this is Jamie. So it was very exciting. I won an Asia Pacific CFO of the year for the bank for Asia Pacific. So that was a great achievement for me. I was fat then, you can see it was very prosperous, the bank. This is my farm fresh. This is my best time. This is my best friend. She's very nice. And then somebody asked, how you know is she? She gives milk. How can you make her give milk? I've taken banks to, I took my friends from CIB to give loan in farm fresh. He said, hey, why all the lucky you need, you have? I said, this is cow to get milk. He said, what about the male one? He's going to ask your mother. Anyway, this is Farm Fresh, this is all my project. And when I joined Farm Fresh, we had 600 cows, small company, family company. My job is to turn around and make it into a big corporate and IPO it, and we did. It was the biggest IPO and was most successful, but it's some of the best friends. The reason I left is because they went into beef production and being a Hindu, I cannot be part of that business. So we had to say our goodbyes, but we remain very good friends. So this is Azmi, you all know him from, more in Astro than anything else. This is the owner of Farm Fresh, Lloyd. A very good friend over 30 years, that's his wife there. Yeah, that's there. Yeah. And that's the Khazana investors actually. And now I have my own company called Sustain Shift Ideation, Sustainability and Shifting Mindsets. This is Eden Strategy, so this is what I do right now, and that's our team in Singapore. That's my team in Malaysia. And my part-time, this is my best friend. This is my wife who's sitting there actually. It's my son who just started medical school. But my favorite most job is this one, play drums in a club. Because ladies like drummers. So once in a while, but I really love to go do social work. And that's what we do. We do a lot of social work. And of course, Arsenal is the best thing in the world. I remember when I took my wife and son to London, we go to visit Emirates Stadium. But for me, it's like I reached my temple, it's like I'm so happy. And I saw, I take my picture, and my wife said, okay, 5 minutes of dinner. So let's go. I'm like, hey, I'm going to spend 3 hours here. I want to go to the various part, and they were like bored already. They were like looking at it. So anyway, we like to do our social work, and that's my vehicle. I come to work every day. Yeah. No, just kidding. That's my bicycle. So what we want to finish in terms of completion of workshop. Why I showed myself, because I want you to ask me questions that are related to my industry, and when I share with you, you know that I'm not doing. Okay, I got some experience to share with you. Today I teach in a university. When I was in the bank, I had a room. My room was about twice the size. I had a dining table. I had an attached bathroom. I never carry bag. My driver carries my bag for me. Now in the university, I carry my own bag. In a print, I have to walk the other side of the building to take my own printer. University is very different, okay? But now I like to teach. So I teach in the university and I also teach. I also look after the MBA program in Malaysia and Singapore. And in fact, I manage the whole MBA program for Malaysia and Singapore. What we will learn in ESG, I want you to learn how to describe what ESG and sustainability is. What is the current global trends? We have to learn what's the current global trends because it's keep changing. I cannot teach you something today that it's irrelevant. So what I try to teach you is something that is always relevant, so that you know how to go back and reinvest and learn. What I want to do is for you to discover ESG impacts on individuals' business. Some people say, no, I want to know about business. If you don't know what your customers will be impacted, you don't know how it's going to impact you. Okay, it's very, very important. Classic case of the guy that was developing the Nokia phone. He developed a nice Nokia phone, and Apple came with iPhone, and Nokia phone died. Okay, so I teach a course in the university called Innovative Management. Innovative Management is not making your product more sustainable. It's about actually finding out in the future, in the sustainable world, people want your product in the first place. For example, this is a true fact. Okay, TV companies are struggling to sell the TV. You know why? Nowadays, people watch TV where? iPhone, iPad in the toilet, walking while cooking. People are watching while training. People are watching their movies. They want bite-sized movie. Nobody got up to watch 3 hours to watch on a big screen. So sales of TVs is actually dropping, but the usage of phones to watch or mobile equipment to watch movies is increasing very rapidly. So the world is changing. The needs of consumer are changing. So in innovative management, we teach you how to learn to anticipate what you want, customers want before you develop it, so that you always remain sustainable and understand the requirements of it. Okay. That for example, ESG was a very strong component why people no longer now go to big malls. Now people, when Lotus came out, Giant came out, all the kedai runcit all tutup, isn't it? Banyak kedai runcit. Then Speed 99 came, and then all the big shops tutup because it's reversed back again. Why? Because there is studies. I've done research. My colleagues have done research. Found out that those days to go to Giant means you really want to. It's like an outing. Okay, but then the cost of living has gone so much that people these days realize by going there you actually end up buying more than you want. Usually my wife will give me a list of things to buy. I always will come back with a lot of other things. Because suddenly you say, hey, cheap, you know. But in Speed 99 you don't have that luxury. You buy what you need, reasonably good price, easy to part, and then you're out. And it's changed completely. It's part of ESG because people want to spend more time doing other things. And that is important. So in innovative management, which we'll teach today, tomorrow in one module, how to understand the transformation of the business. Very, very rapidly, people are moving. Okay. Third one is understanding managing key impacts of ESG in your own areas. Introducing to some sustainable framework. Why I say introduction is because ESG framework itself is a 2-day course, 3 days course, 4 days course. Even that is an introduction. ESG framework for insurance is totally different from banking, which is totally different from aerospace engineering. What I want to teach here is so that you understand how to learn. You cannot be taught. This is like me trying to teach you dictionary. I mean, do we go page by page? I cannot, isn't it? So this is the framework is almost like a dictionary. But what I teach you is how to use the dictionary, so that you can keep referring it. Don't try to learn the framework because every month is changing. Just like audit statements or accounting statements, those of you accountants, you know this, okay? It changes very rapidly. What you need to know is what's GRI. You should know what's GRI. What's GRI 101? What's GRI 102? You should know that so that you know how to go and refer and be attuned. If not, you'll be outdated, right? You need to know what is TCFD. How do I get the certificate? I got certificate in there. How do you go online and learn what that is and how does it impact you? So that's what I'm going to teach you. And finally, about how to start ESG in your business. And I see a lot of people set up project, companies start up ESG by the board agree, they tell the MD will come up with a big launch, everybody come for meeting, town hall, and then after that, somebody who don't know anything about ESG is asked to start the ESG project. And then they rope in 2-3 people. So they rope in 2-3 people, you got your day job, and then you got an ESG job. And then it becomes a committee task. And then you go around asking people to help you to start the ESG. It's like almost like you ask people to come and help you in a gotong royong exercise. That is not how you should start an ESG because that is bound to fail. Because you need to start ESG as part and parcel of your standard work procedure. And then you need to update it rather than an individual project running like a project. That's not how it's supposed to. Most of that I know is good business for consultants because you will not meet the target and then you call consultants to come inside. ESG is one where every person must be able to transform. So ESG, if you start in a project, like most companies do, is like you ask, I want to lose weight, and then you pay, can you run every day for me in the treadmill? I pay you money. And then after 2 months you complain to him, I'm not losing weight, you need to run faster. I have to run, isn't it? Not him, isn't it? So ESG, when you run a project, is like that. That's not how you run an ESG project. The ESG project has to be embedded and part and parcel of your KPI. So the way I start my consulting work in ESG, and I've done more than 100 over, I only ask one question. I always ask the MD, can I see your KPI? If ESG is not in his KPI, he will ask you to do it, but he will not support you 100%. Because he's still focused in his profit and his other targets. Which is why now Bank Negara has made it mandatory. If you don't finish certain requirements, the companies will be penalized. Banks will be penalized. So banks now have to do it. But in companies, MDs, if you don't have the ESG requirements in their KPI, the transformation usually becomes very, very difficult. Right? Any questions so far? Does it make sense? It has to be available. So to the HR practitioners, if your MD wants to pursue ESG, starts a project, but if it's not in your KPI, I'm telling you, 80 to 90% is going to be a very slow and a very Lombard kind of project. It's not going to run, and you're going to miss the boat in terms of transforming your business. Right? Can you see this in your workbook? By the way, there's a lot of slides here that is not in your workbook. That the workbook is for you to write. There's a lot of blanks there, so for you to write to keep you active. Once you have finished this, if you let me have a look that you have actively participated in the workbook, I will send you the full slides to you. Because my full slide is not part of this workshop, because there's a lot of materials inside there. But I don't see people who just store it and then number two, I realize a lot of people reuse it for training in their own company. It's like it's not from the sky. I would like you to actually practice, you learn, and then I'll share with you. I definitely will share with you. No issue, zero cost. Okay. All right. So the first question: what does ESG stand for? Very good. Okay. So answer is which one? All right. Second one: why is ESG important? Younger investors are demanding greater clarity. Shareholders, do you know that the younger generation these days are very strict? They are very particular. There is a study showing that children these days want to buy, even children, they want to buy one that is organic, must not have this, must not have that. They don't like to drink Diet Coke. My son doesn't like to drink Diet Coke. He drinks tea, matcha, or water, take him to a nice restaurant, but just warm water. I don't want to drink anything that is bad for you. It's different. I live on Diet Coke. So children these days change. That's why you got a lot of all this special coffee shop, soya bean shop, because they don't like all the pops that we used to drink. COVID, pandemic increases transparency. Advanced technology is helping, all of the above. So why is ESG important? Huh? All of the above. Okay, good. Very good. 3. ESG is required and relevant to? Not really. Check properly and see. There's a hidden answer there. Okay, it's all of the above. I just wanted to read it a bit more again, that's why. ESG focus on? Okay, all of the above. Right. Okay, no more already, all of the above. Okay, now you have to answer. Social pillar for ESG is? Staff has to, this has to do with impact an organization has on people, including staff, customers, and the community. B, this has to do with impact an organization has on people, customers, community, but excludes employees. C, all matters relating to CSR. D, all social matters relating to employees, social matters. What's the answer? A. Correct. A is correct. All right. You're from Arab, so yeah. Okay. Number 6, ESG is a strategic business tool to create competitive advantage for business. Yes or no? Or is it a compliant for regulatory requirements and shareholder requirements? Yes. Answer is yes, actually. All right. 7, do you believe your team is aware of the importance of implementing sustainability practice?
No.
Huh? Maybe. There are a lot of people who come and tell me, MDs or people come for my workshop. I've done this about like 30 times already, okay? And the slides changes every time because things keep changing. And they will say that I know about ESG and I want to implement ESG, but they've been drinking from a mineral water. You don't know ESG. Knowing ESG is different from implementing ESG. I think it's very, very important for us to know that. And finally, in your opinion, do you see opportunities to make your area operations in your organizations more sustainable? No opportunities? Or 5 many opportunities, or somewhere in between? Huh? 3. Yours is 3. Okay, what about singularity? Actually, the answer is many opportunities. It's really huge. It's really huge because the changes is going to be very rapid. Now, for us, it's actually untung. We got Trump in US. They're going to go backwards. Actually, there's a great door opening for us to actually help the world in a more greater way. Because if the water rises, but if you won't tell people in Shah Alam, those who stay in where is the flood? Tamasri Moda, and say you don't believe in ESG, he'll give you one slap, I tell you. Because the water reached second tingkat. Because we went and did service. We went and dropped things and stuff like that. Can you imagine second floor water reached to the roof? And you say that you don't believe in ESG, he will wallop you. Because those were all failures in trying to understand nature, right? Yeah. Now, I don't like Al Gore very much, so I'm not proposing that I like him very much. There are a few things about him that I didn't like. But this is a very, very good topic to introduce to you how important ESG for us in our own individual life. Okay? So don't worry about him, but listen to what he has to say, because a lot of what we're going to do, companies are doing, is because of what he said. And he's not saying because he's saying this, it's actually the world is saying this. So let's listen to what he said.
Your Majesties, heads of state, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is a great honor to be able to play a part in this opening ceremony of the 27th Conference of the Parties. Mr. President, thank you. Mr. Secretary General, thank you for your leadership of the entire world. We are all here today because we continue to use the thin blue shell of atmosphere surrounding our planet as an open sewer. Today, as every day, we're...
What he's saying is that the entire atmosphere, the river, the sea, the air we breathe, we have turned it into a sewer. Sewer means, is the one that Indah water. So basically we have turned the whole thing into an Indah water sewage treatment. And because of the chemical impact that we have created so much of waste. Okay? And there's a lot of scientific evidence to demonstrate that, which is why today the treatment for cancer, lung cancer, TB is in a huge rise because of, whether you like it or not, is the pollution that we have created in many parts of the world, which is now they're saying now seafood now contains a very high level of metal and microplastics. These are things that we cannot see. So we look at the fish, it looks very nice, it looks great, we steam